It kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go lefty.
No, we're talking about the players. That's tournament champion into the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Down Lane Podcast. We are streaming live from the lab at Town and Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haynes, and with me is the assistant to the host,
Axel Rose.
Anthony Scatia. The ghouly, witchy Anthony Scatia.
I look like I'm ready to rock.
Yeah, I don't
Not
know if
a
it's a
witch.
witch or if you're a rock star, but yeah.
This totally needs to be my hair. I need extensions. I'm all in. Let's do it.
I love it. Welcome to our, I guess, our first official Halloween episode.
Axel's here.
Austin, let's see it. I want to see what you got back there.
Austin
You
Cam
really
time.
want to see it, huh?
Yeah, we want to see what you got back
Austin Cam. Come on now.
there. In the producer's closet.
What's up?
In the blue wig. Producer
Yeah,
Austin. Nice.
this is quite detrimental to my site.
This is good. I like
This
a
is good.
nice 3 picture.
Yeah, all right.
You look nice back there. Did you dye your hair today?
Yeah. Is
I
it
like
fresh?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
it looks good, man. I love it. Well, we all got our hats on for the Halloween episode. I got the cat in the hat. This is actually my son Zach's from a year or two ago. You have Stephanie's witch hat,
Thank you.
and that was Austin's got Thing 1 and Thing 2 wig from a number of years ago too.
I do have the Thing 2 wig if someone wants to join that.
Nice. Backup Thing 2 wig. Nice. All right. So don't forget, guys, like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Share with your friends. Listen on your favorite podcast outlet if you can't tune in every Thursday night. And please give us a 5-star review. Don't forget, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can always email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. And especially tonight, we want to hear from you. Comment to us during the show. We'll chat with you, and we'll take your questions live on air. Because today we are talking about the youth programs in bowling. So we want to hear about what you guys have in your programs across the country. We want to hear what you guys think about the youth program and how it could change, improve, or if you really like it, if it should stay the same. Which brings us to this week's poll question. Which I have to bring it up because Anthony went into the outline this week. I shouldn't even have trusted him with the paperwork this week because he totally bungled it. But the poll question is, could youth programs be improved to help better prepare bowlers for future competition? And couldn't you guess 100% of the respondents said yes. 100%.
100%.
Right.
Does that surprise you?
It doesn't.
Seems pretty accurate to me.
Yeah. So basically what people are thinking is that youth programs across the board could be improved to help bowlers, youth bowlers, adult bowlers eventually be better prepared for competition, whether it's collegiate or high school or adult leagues, competition, tournaments, etc. Which we'll get into that. We'll get into that later on. Going on this week and last week too, were the Pan Am Games. Team USA was in Colombia, like we talked about last week. They started off slow last week, like we talked about, but they swept the team event. The men and the women did. They took gold there, and in all events. I thought that was pretty sweet. So after a slow start, they ended up taking gold in teams and all events for both the women and the men.
Pretty good after a slow start.
Yeah.
All right. They had a slow start last week after we talked about that. They picked their game up. They must listen to us.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
I think Kyle Sherman did like our post. So obviously he's watching. So, Kyle, way to pick your game up a little bit. And, glad that they pulled out the W.
Yeah. And out of 30 plus medals, 32, I think it is, Team USA took 13. So almost half.
It's an
Mexico,
embarrassment.
7. You mean they should have had more?
Yes.
Mexico had 7, Puerto Rico had 4, Canada 4, Colombia 2, Aruba 1, and Costa Rica 1.
We do have a fellow Canadian on the podcast tonight, Nicholas Taconia.
Welcome to the show, Nick.
I think he was watching the Pan Am Games as well. He was rooting on his fellow Canadian players.
I bet he was. Let's see, Mitch Young. If they had Ant, they would have taken 32 out of 32.
Man, I don't know if I'm be able to get out of this door tonight.
Mitch, you are too good to Anthony. That's ridiculous.
Listen, I'm a fan favorite. What do you want me to say?
I guess so.
Fan favorite.
So. Let's see here. So on the PWBA front, they have a lot going on this week. I don't know if you're paying attention, but they have 3 tournaments in basically a week or a week and a half. No, actually 1 week. They're in Reno. They've got the Reno Classic, the Pepsi Classic, and the Tour Championship.
That's 3. I can count 3. That high.
That's right. So the Reno Classic already finished up yesterday-ish or Tuesday or Wednesday. I forget. I'm terrible at remembering things. You think I'd write it down. But Stephanie Zavala won, which was her 3rd title of the season. And she was the first bowler since the PWBA and United States Bowling Congress Hall of Famer Leanne Holsenberg to win 3 titles as a rookie on the Professional Women's Tour. So
great performance
to Stephanie. And Holsenberg claimed 3 victories during her rookie campaign in 1987 and has a total of 27 career titles. So I'm sure Zavala is well on her way
to 27 titles.
To 27 titles. And then with her victory on Tuesday, Zavala now has expanded her lead to more than 26,300 points with the 2 events remaining.
For Player of the Year?
That is right, yeah.
Way to tune in the folks, Kyle. Come on. They're looking for you to put the facts out.
I'm trying to. I'm just terrible at it. So with the 2 more events, the Pepsi Classic and the Tour Championship, she's got 26,300 points over the rest of the field. And the Pepsi Classic finishes tonight at 8 o'clock, and the Tour Championship, ladies and gentlemen, is live on the CBS Sports Network on Sunday at 5 p.m. So it's on actual television.
Live, 5 p.m., CBS Sports Network. Tune in
Sunday
for the Women's PWBA Championship, 5 p.m., CBS Sports, live, Sunday.
Get some.
Do they explain how they do the points?
No.
Because I'm just kind of like, is she a winner? Like, is she like already won the Player of the Year, whatever it is?
They did not say that. I think they did say that the second place person does have a chance. I mean, if she finishes dead last, I'm sure, or DNFs, she probably has a chance to not win.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, how much of a chance do people have? That's what I want to know.
Not much, because she's pretty darn good.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They should explain to me how the points work so I can say, oh, wow, they're close or they're not close. Because her lead's 26,000 above the next player?
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, maybe another time.
I'm trying to find the scoring right now.
I still see you're on the little screen there, Austin. I can't look at the screen or else I'll laugh. So sorry if I'm not looking at you.
So you know what I didn't ask you? How was your week this week?
You didn't ask me. I was kind of upset.
I know. I sped right into the poll question, and I forgot to ask how you were doing this week.
You know, Kyle, it's a great week to be alive. Going to the Astros Game 7. Astros Braves Game 7. Still thinking about it. Flying out to Houston next week. I'll be back for the podcast if I go. Don't worry about that.
Is Game 7 a guarantee?
No, but if Game 7 happens, I'm going to Houston.
Is this for real?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Where are your seats?
I have no idea. We picked the cheapest ones we could find.
Which was how much?
It's right next to the $50,000 seats. It's right next to Beamer Bar, I think it's called. We might be in standing room only section.
Basically just able to see a television.
Yes, but we will be there.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. It's not 100% yet.
Yeah.
But I'm totally ready to go.
Yeah, and you were also told no, so.
No, I wasn't. I was told yes today. I got the okay later today. But you know what? I mean, we'll see what happens.
Sure.
It'd be awesome, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sure. Go to a World Series game to be a story for.
It's either we're going to the World Series Game 7 or we're going to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Because the Bills might make the Super Bowl.
Sorry. Almost vomited in my mouth a little bit.
You are a disgusting person.
Oh, you know what I forgot to mention is we got our new.
We got our TNC Tournament Club jackets.
Yeah.
Kyle, you want a model because they can't see mine.
We got our tournament club jackets here.
They get your. They have your name on the left shoulder. There you go, Kyle. No, other shoulder, left.
Yeah.
That's Haynes right there, and then we've got the Scatia Bowling logo on the right, and then we got our tournament club just right on the chest, right on the left boobie.
Yeah, so we've been talking about this a lot the last few weeks about our club, and included in the membership is the quarter zip up and a bunch of tournaments. So this is one of
the perks.
Tonight.
Yeah, we just got them today. So if you're in the club and you got one, let us know and you can come pick it up. We got all 48 of them, 46, 48.
Damn.
Yeah, so they look good, sweet.
Love it.
Live it, laugh, love it.
I also picked up a couple balls this week, which I thought was pretty
that's
sweet.
right. Kyle did drill a few bowling balls. I'm a little upset. I drilled them last Friday. We were talking about it. We drilled him a Quantum Evo Solid, the green and blue, and we drilled him an Obsession Tour Pearl, and he hasn't even come in to look at them.
I'm a little busy this time of year.
I don't care how busy you are. I drilled you bowling balls on Friday. You couldn't pick him up. Austin, is that a disgrace?
I'm going to throw them tonight.
Here, hold on.
Are you gonna throw him a lot tonight, or are you just gonna throw it for fun?
Yeah, but he hasn't even tried him on yet. Like he hasn't even. That's a weird way.
Oh, you haven't even.
He hasn't even tried
fitted it.
Yeah, he hasn't even like put his hand in him and been like, "Oh,
God.
this feels so good."
I trust that it's gonna fit. I'm gonna twist the thumb in. The grips are gonna fit. I'm gonna throw it down the lane, and it's gonna be fine.
I really hope I screw the grips up.
What happens if the
You didn't glue
thumb
them in,
doesn't?
did you?
What's that, Austin?
What happens if the thumb doesn't twist and lock?
I hope it doesn't twist and lock, so he gets mad at me. And like I say, you could have been here a week before. But yeah, we drilled him up some new bowling balls. So Kyle is jumping on the train.
That's right. Got the Obsession Tour Gold and the Evo Solid, like you said.
Obsession Tour Gold. Yep, and we'll see how they roll tonight. You'll probably use Goldie.
Yeah, I'm pretty stuck with shinier surfaces around here lately.
Thanks, Art. Art said, "Remember to glue the tips." Listen, this is an ongoing joke here because I don't glue the tips in until they fit because
Like father, like son.
Because I don't want to have to undo it. I can just pull them out. So I don't glue them in often, and a lot of times I forget to glue them in. I've had people take them and go bowl somewhere else and be like, "Hey, you forgot to glue the fingertips in."
No, I totally agree with that.
But wow, you agree with something that I said?
I do. I agree with it because why would you rip out brand new grips and destroy them?
Well, they don't get destroyed. I have a tool for it.
Yeah, but sometimes they do rip.
Very true. But yeah, so everybody makes fun of me. If some people aren't from here, now you know.
Yeah.
Check your grips before you leave the shop.
All right, so let's get right into it here. So our poll question, like we said, was about youth bowling and whether or not we are setting up our junior bowlers for success. Are they prepared for adult leagues? Are they prepared for tournament bowling? And overwhelmingly, the people that answered the poll question said that there's vast room for improvement, right?
Absolutely.
So you bowled a little bit as a junior.
I was not
much.
a bowler.
No.
I was literally, you couldn't catch me in the bowling alley. I did almost everything else under the sun.
Yeah. I bowled a lot of it, basically from beginning to end.
Austin bowled a lot of it.
Right.
Austin, do you still hold the record for CDYST?
I believe so.
Which was what? I don't know about this.
Gosh.
Highest total pinfall?
My
for qualifying?
highest 4-game block and highest 7-game block for qualifying.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was with a brand new ball. That was the Rumble. Do you remember the Rumble?
New ball carry. Yeah. I do. That was from like 2007.
Yeah, we're talking back in the day.
Man.
So there you go.
People. So basically, we're trying to figure out how do we go about preparing the junior bowlers to become collegiate bowlers, high school bowlers, collegiate bowlers, adult bowlers. Because right now they're bowling, as we've talked about, on Helen Keller, bumper bowling, basically. And in my experience, you show up on Saturday morning, you have fun, basically. You have a couple of coaches doing their best to try to get to every kid and help them out. But really, it's not a learning environment or even a competitive environment. And it's definitely not difficult, as far as the lane conditions. So I just don't know how do we get to that point
of improving the youth league. Well, I mean, I've got a lot written here. Have you checked out what I've gotten written here?
You've got a lot.
Yeah.
You've got a lot down here. You've got a lot of ideas.
Well, I mean, it's, my brain never stops. I guess the first thing that, wow, you zoomed in on me, huh, Kyle? Austin? Jeez. I didn't put my makeup on today. I just think there's a few different routes that could be taken. I think the most important thing is introducing different styles of bowling to help bring kids together and or create more team camaraderie, because I know I think that it has to be more of a team thing. If you go to like a baseball game or something, or you go to a football game, it's a team-oriented sport. And I understand there's like always this big people always put out this, no one sits the bench and score in bowling. So everybody gets their 3 games. I don't necessarily think people should sit. I just think that if we made it more of a team, like a 5-man baker or 2-man baker, because if we have 3 of us and we're on a team in juniors, and I was not in the bowling alley at all. So let's say I have you 2 on my team. You 2 were bowling, and it's like, hey, we have the 3-man baker tournament coming up, or league, whatever it is. League is just a bunch of tournaments, whatever it is. But we have our 3-man event coming up, and we're on a team. You need to come in here and practice with us, to get better, because we don't want you to be the anchor on the team, and then we're not going to do as well. So then, okay, guys, I'll come in and practice. So now we're dragging the lower, or the guy who doesn't bowl as much, the less skilled player, and possibly whoever it is, and now they're practicing more, and it creates that environment of, hey, here are my friends, we're going to go bowling today, I want to be better for the team. That's kind of where I think it would start, because I'm reading kind of there's a lot of
there's a lot of comments going
on. And everybody says participation.
So I totally agree.
We need to get participation by creating a different environment to say, hey, man, we had a great time. Hey, let's see if I can grab one of my buddies to come in here and we can come practice. And then it starts to grow from there, because obviously we have to take it baby steps. It's not going to be hey, this is what it is. Now we're looking at a huge curve.
Well, first and foremost, this is my son Zachary's hat, and it's cutting off the circulation to my head. Secondly, so one of the things that I was thinking, and to your point, is that I go back to when I was in Pop Warner football, right? So you start Pop Warner football in August, and all you're doing is football. So you practice Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever the days are, but it's like 3 or 4 days a week.
Of course, yeah.
And then once it's game day or game time, you drop down your practices to 1 or 2 days a week, and then you have game Sunday, right? Game day Sunday, or Saturday night, one or the other.
Right.
But when bowling starts in September, it's just Saturday, right? So then I would literally go to practice on Saturday morning, get in the car, and come to bowling right after practice for the 11:30 shift on Saturday morning at the bowling alley. But that was it. So my thought is bowling needs to be more like all the other sports, baseball, soccer,
Right.
football. You practice just like all the other sports, and then you have your event on Saturday morning or whenever. So your team comes in, which is also tough because you do have your leagues going on, but we'll have to figure it out one way or another.
Yeah. I mean, but
You got to figure out how do you do your practice with a coach. Maybe every team has a coach with your team players. You come in, you have practice, and then on Saturday it's a real competition. And I know that in your Saturday morning leagues it is a real competition, but when I was bowling, I didn't even notice it. All I did was I showed up and I tried to shoot 200 or 220
right.
or the best score I could. Right, I didn't even realize I was bowling on a team half the time when I was a
Well,
kid.
that's the thing. I agree with you. You're not in that competitive team environment. You're bowling singles, which is why I think that the Bakers and or some sort of different.
Well, you're bowling 5-man teams in junior bowling or 4-man teams or whatever. 4-man teams, yeah. In our house here, but in my mind,
you're not paying attention to the 4-man team.
Exactly.
You're
in
bowling
my mind,
individual
I
games.
didn't even think about it.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying. Now, the other thing that kind of correlates, I guess, in a way for me is okay. So first of all, we go bowl different style, Bakers, whatever it is, team event. You run your regular events as well, where you have the regular 3-man teams versus 3-man teams. Maybe you run a Bakers one week, a Bakers another week. So, you talk about that, but then the other thing that you eliminate with different styles is you're eliminating each player's individual game, which also takes away the honor scores. I think that the honor scores for the youth bowlers is too high because that's kind of what happened to me, to be completely honest. I bowled 300 at 13, and I thought, what the heck else is there to accomplish? Because back then, we'll get into it more. We talked about it in our outlines, but like the youth sport challenge or the youth sport tour, whatever you want to call it, where they're bowling on the challenging stuff, that really wasn't prevalent until I was probably 15 or 16. But by then I was checked out. Done. I shot 300 at 13. And I was like, what else is there to do? Shoot 800? Okay. But I didn't really care back then. I also played like 8 other sports.
You're an arrogant little child.
I was a jerk, but
now you're an arrogant little adult.
That's right. But you look at it, and if a lot of these kids, because it has happened, you get an honor score at a young age. I've seen a few people who get an honor score kind of like me at a younger age, and then what happens is they completely lose interest in bowling because there's nothing else for them to really accomplish.
Achieve, yeah.
What else can you do at the adult level? Oh, I shot another 300. Yeah, great. But you shot one already. You've already got your lifetime award when you were 13 years old. There's no more incentives. Now you've kind of lost that will to say, I'm going to go bowl. Unless you obviously are from a bowling family and you see nationals, the bigger, more prestigious events, maybe you want to go bowl on the pro tour. But for me, that wasn't in the cards. So I think that's another thing that the team event helps is it might eliminate some of the games where you shoot 300 at 13 or 14 or 15. I mean, you even see like a 12-year-old shoot 300 now or something like that.
That's crazy.
So just imagine what is he going to do? He's 12 years old. He's, bowling's a lifetime sport. If he wants to go bowl till he's 55 or 60, he's going to bowl another 45 years and get absolutely nothing for 300 or 800. He's already done at 12. Does he want to bowl? Would you want to bowl?
No. I do have because I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum with the same beginning circumstance. I had my first 300 when I was 13. But for me, since that was kind of the only, I played a couple other sports, but nothing that piqued my interest like bowling did. And having that first 300, all it did was make me say, wow, I want to do that as many times as I possibly can. So I think it all depends on who the person is, how driven they are to actually excel at this particular sport. I know you were really good at baseball, and
he was okay.
I was average at everything.
That was something that I was more definitely probably wanted to do.
Right, so exactly. You liked bowling.
It superseded the talent you had in bowling until you came back from college.
Right. I guess so. I wasn't that good, but I guess you're right. It depends on who you are. But for me, if you look at it and you are playing the other sports, which one are you going to choose too? And if you really love bowling, like you said, Austin loved bowling, so he chose that path. But how many kids are going to choose that path in bowling?
Yeah.
How is it really gonna? If you're bowling individualistic and you're not bowling as a team, how do you go? How do you continue on just doing it by yourself?
Well, plus you have the other sports like baseball, for example, and soccer that never end, right? They are perpetually.
My dad is totally in your screen right now, eating chips. We can see you in the podcast.
They are perpetually playing.
Yeah.
So you have spring ball.
It's ridiculous at this point.
And then soccer has indoor soccer, and then spring soccer and fall soccer. Like, it never ends.
Right.
So if you don't have, like you said, if you don't pique the kids' interest to continually bowl
and compete.
And make it interesting and not just a Saturday morning activity,
right?
Then they're going to be more interested in the actual hardcore activity of the other sports.
So instead of just talking about it, how do we do that? What are your thoughts? Because we're talking about it now. Let's do like a step plan. First of all, we have to create obviously a different environment to bring people in. We know that.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about how are we going to get these kids better? How are we going to keep their interest?
I've had a plan for a while, just like I have my 5-step plan for making the game harder. But but seriously, my idea a while back was in our house. I had an idea was that instead of just a couple of coaches milling around trying to get to every bowler that they could, was that every team needs to have a designated coach.
Now I agree with you because I wrote that in my notes.
Okay.
But let me ask you a question, because now we have to talk on base, like make a step. How many of the kids' parents are qualified enough for the run-of-the-mill basics in bowling?
Almost none, but there are a large amount, because most of the kids come from at least somebody that bowls, right?
Typically,
you could walk up and down on a Saturday morning.
I know a bunch of people.
Exactly, and you could point to most of the moms or dads that are bowlers.
Right. They have a general idea of how to teach the basics.
They know the approach. They know
1, 2, 3 slide. Right. So we need to get them involved.
Right. So we need them to be coaches, and we need them to be dedicated enough to come in on a whatever afternoon, Thursday afternoon or Friday afternoon, just after school and before, just like all the other sports that practice, and do an hour of practice.
What's the incentive for the parents in other sports? Do they just do it because somebody has to do it? Like, is that kind of how it is?
Their incentive is that they think that their kid's going to get a baseball scholarship or a football scholarship.
Well, let's ignore that.
That's what they think.
Well, what's their incentive though? Like, they literally are just going to take the time out of their day to go coach, and that they don't get any. You don't get a freeze pop after the game. What is it?
I don't know, but that's what they do in all the other sports.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. That's why I'm asking. Yeah. You have kids. I don't. I remember my mom was the team parent, or whatever the heck that was, and I don't think she really got anything. I don't really know.
They don't. They just do it because their kid's there. They want to do it.
They might as well help out.
Yeah.
And well, that's the thing that I'm saying is we need to be able to bring these people in. Like, let's take, for example, let's talk about a guy like Jeremy Winnie.
Yeah.
Came up through the junior program. His kid Shane bowls now. Great kid, by the way. If Jeremy's watching. Shane's awesome. And he would be a guy that would be a candidate for like team dad. Yeah. I don't know what to call it. Coach. He would be a good coach because he knows the fundamentals. He knows the basics. Now, obviously, you would be good because you're Kyle. But if we can get 16 people, or however how many teams we have, to have one coach, like you're saying, just to teach the basics, and then you have a specialty. You have a specialty. They love my hat, by the way. Your aunt.
Yep.
If we get the specialty people, let's just say you, myself, Austin. Let's just say us three, because we know a little bit more about Gary's talking about how complex it is. We get the parents who know the basics, who can help teach 1, 2, 3 slide, decent arm swing, and we help coach them a little bit to be able to be better coaches. Then you have the core 5 or 6 people who go around and teach the more complex things as kids get older.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And I think what's important is that, first of all, like you said, they're teaching the fundamentals of the game, the basics, the fundamentals.
Right. They are just fundamentals, and they are kind of like the chaperone at that point for events.
But also, by the way, they're also learning. The adults
100%.
too. Not just the kids, but the adults.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the experts, quote unquote, we'll call them experts, right? So
Yeah.
they can be walking around, like you said, and teaching about ball motion and the different bowling balls and cover stocks and cores and whatever, and teach them how to, teach the coaches what they're seeing on the lane,
Right.
and how to make those
Adjust or make it.
adjustments,
Yeah.
right? Or maybe that's a whole side instruction for the coaches themselves, right? That they can then bring to the lanes on coaching day or on training day, and then on game day.
Right.
But ultimately, back to my thoughts and my plans is that you would have practice days and then competition days, and then we would have a rotating schedule of competition day. One Saturday will be typical four-man day, four-man bowling, and then the next week might be
Bakers
doubles and singles or bakers,
whatever it is.
But it would rotate to give them all of those different experiences, because I had never experienced baker bowling until college. So giving them all of these different experiences, I think, is really important. I also had never experienced any sport bowling until college, meaning sport patterns.
Right.
So we need to introduce that at a younger age as well, because these kids have never, at least in our area, and I bet you if we can get somebody to tell us on the chat here, probably across the country too, they don't experience anything challenging on the lanes until they go to junior gold or until they go to college. Because even when we go to like states, for example, that was the first time that I experienced something actually difficult, was states. And I was clueless because of how difficult the lanes were. And my high school coach was just as clueless as everyone else. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't prepared for
that level. No, I agree with you.
And that's another whole thing, is that high school bowling, they give the priority to the teachers, not to jump around here, but they give priority to the teachers rather than an experienced bowler for coaching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if a teacher wants to make $1,500 that year extra, and knows a little bit about bowling, or just wants to babysit,
right,
then he can sign up, make $1,500 or $2,000, whatever it is now, and a bowler that actually wants to coach and improve the team and possibly win a state championship is knocked out because a teacher gets the.
I think it depends on what school you're talking to as well. I think other schools are more open to having other people if they're a private school. Sure. I think the private schools are a little more in tune with their sports, because I know they usually get people who are a little more successful. I've seen more public schools where they just pick the phys ed teacher because they need somebody to coach because nobody bowls, right? So then they don't want to go out of there. Yeah, they have to do background check and all that, but typically schools don't want to do that. They get somebody from homegrown. They know that they're a trusted person and they go there, which I get. But at the same time, it's not helping that sport. It's not helping that person who is maybe at the top tier and they have a chance to go wherever, get better. That person's basically just coming in to throw the ball down the lane and practice what his or her coach told them to do for whatever. And that guy has no idea. Or gal has no idea.
I do have a little bit of input on this. I think it also has to do with region, especially the East Coast. The farther south that you go in New York State, the more serious they take bowling.
Mm-hmm. And West.
I know. I went to states for individual 3 years in a row, and every time Section 10, Section 11, Section 9 destroyed the competition. Mm-hmm. But they also, you talk to some of the bowlers, and they're bowling on challenge patterns, sport patterns for their actual matches.
Yeah.
So they're already experiencing the challenge because they want them to.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit different out there. Didn't you have to wasn't one of the sections coaches Doug Kent?
Yeah, Section 10, Doug Kent.
Yeah, Doug Kent's their coach.
Made a Greek church in front of him.
That's impressive. But back to the what I'm talking about, the leagues. I wrote something down. I think that, this idea, I do have to credit Mark Taylor with this idea, because we chatted about youth bowling a few times. His idea was to come up with a odd amount of teams. And basically what happens is, for every so often, each team is in their bye week and gets a specific instruction with one of those specialized coaches instead of just the normal coach that week. So that way they don't have to compete, but they can find something else. Say their fundamentals are pretty good. Well, now you and I or Austin or my dad already look at it. Artie's Austin's dad. My dad is obviously my dad. So they're experienced in the field, and they can say, oh, yeah, you definitely need to do a little bit of this and that. And then the parent coach or whoever it is can say, oh, yeah, and I never really noticed that until you pointed out. So now they're getting even more specialized training on the off week. So they have a whole week to work on it, and then they can come back the next week to practice, and then the competition day is the next week. So there's also like some other options in there. And I think that's a really good idea where they get specialized training. Now, say we have like 3 coaches or 4 coaches, so 4 teams get a bye week that week or whatever. So each person can work with a specific team that day. That way you can kind of really get a lot of teams to have specialized weeks. And then at the end, you can have one collaborative, no bye weeks, one big final event, the big bash. But I think that, we need to, I think Art put it back in the comments up above. Austin and your dad put it in there. You don't have to put it up, but he said we need to be able to reach the kids more on an individual level. And with the coaching and the people that are there now, you can't reach everybody. So I think specialized training, you have your parent coaches like we're talking about. And then if there's a bye week or however many teams you have, 2 teams get a bye week, they get that specialized training with Art and Jack, and then Austin, me, and Kyle are walking around helping while the other, the parent coaches are there, but we're also walking around helping everybody as we get. But specific weeks, people get that 2-hour training specialized for them. So then you can try to help them get a little bit better too. So you can nitpick them a little bit without them being in that competitive setting. So shout out to him. He gave me a good idea. I mean, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, he also did he start the CDYST,
yes,
which
he
is the Capital District Youth Scratch Tour, right? Or Youth
Capital District Youth.
I forget how it goes.
Yeah,
Scholarship Tour.
Scholarship
Tour. Thank you. Yeah, he did start that. He's from Connecticut, and they did have that Teen Masters, I think it was.
Okay.
Something like that. And he had done that, and he actually talked about having a tour around here at Boulevard, and my father was like, yeah, let's do it. And he was like, wait, are you serious? And my dad was like, yeah, let's do it. You can have it at my place. So the first ever event was here. So it's very interesting.
And this is part of the thing that I'm talking about here, the problem that I see. Gary's saying here, Gary Beck is saying, when I started the Teen Masters in 1997, there were nearly 500,000 youth members, and today there are close to 100,000.
Why is that a problem?
Because it went from 500,000 to 100,000.
Yeah, but don't you see a drop in everything?
Do you see a drop in baseball? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Have you seen baseball? What's it called? Babe Ruth or whatever around here? It's like ridiculous. Kids play all year round.
Yeah, they
never
play all
stop.
year round, but that's not. I don't feel like that. I mean, the participation levels in baseball are lower than what they used to be. They talk about it all the time. At least that's what the baseball guys talk about. I must be
out because when I go to the baseball field, it's ridiculous over there.
Yeah, but I don't think it's as much as it used to be. I think video games are taking over a lot of people's time.
Maybe. Austin, tell us about the video games.
Hey. Well, hold on a second.
Listen, Derpsicles.
I bowl too.
Yeah, he does bowl too. But that's the other thing. Bowling competes with video games. It competes with all year round football. It competes with all year round baseball. Back in the day, it was bowling, or it was football in the fall, bowling in the winter, baseball in the spring. In the summer, I don't know if some people played summer ball, some people went swimming. I don't freaking know what they did, but they had the rotations.
They went to camp and they spent time with their families.
Right, whatever it was. But now you look at it and it's all year round. Like when I played baseball in college,
never ends.
It was all year round. There was no break. And trust me, I loved every second of it. But you have to compete with that. How many people really bowl all year round? Do the bowling centers close all year round or in the summer? So now they can't bowl all year round, Yeah, it's definitely not a mainstream sport.
Yeah, Mitch Young says, one issue I see is that bowling is not considered one of the mainstream sports like baseball, football, basketball for youth activities.
It's definitely not. Ron Williams put in the comments above that it's not on TV enough. It is on TV. I think it's just, obviously we've talked about the platform. We don't think it's the greatest, but still, football and baseball and basketball are
dominate.
Yeah, I mean, they make millions and millions of dollars. That's why their players get paid so much, because of the TV contracts, because of that stuff.
Right.
Bowling isn't as prevalent on TV, so as we all know. So you don't have that mainstream, here it is in your face. You kind of have to go out of your way to get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, especially since it's all hidden on the internet. and you get a few live Sundays throughout the winter.
Right.
Starting in, actually, they just came out with the schedule starting in January or so.
Kyle, I had a point to bring up to you quick about the loss of youth bowlers. And I think it has to do with every sport, really. And the only reason I'm bringing this up to you is because you were the only parent on the podcast. I think, like, personally, I see a loss in the motivation of the parents being in the sports life of their child. They'd rather just drop them off at practice and leave, come back and pick them up. Whereas, when I was a kid, my father sat behind me the whole time. It wasn't like you go do your thing as a kid and I'm going to go do my adult thing. I'll see you in an hour. Where I feel like nowadays it's starting to kind of lean towards that. And a lot of times I feel like the kids just lose interest because they feel like nobody else has interest in it.
Or nobody's guiding them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Me personally, I go to watch every time I can. This time of year, it's impossible for me to get to every Saturday, but as soon as my busy season's done, I am at bowling every Saturday morning. I go to every baseball game I can. I will tell you, and everyone that knows me knows that I preach this, I refuse to sign up for fall ball when it comes to baseball because I'm a believer that each sport should have its own season. I don't believe that you should be having baseball year-round or soccer year-round. I think every sport should have its chance to be able to play. But no, I personally, in my opinion, I try to get to every single game that I possibly can. I think, when I go to each game, I think most parents are there. I mean, obviously, there's people that have to work and stuff. I don't see personally a lot of drop-offs, but I could be wrong. I think what a lot of times it is, to your point, would be that the parents aren't as involved in the actual sport as they used to be, where your dad probably played baseball and your dad most definitely is a bowler. So you guys can connect, whereas a lot of parents maybe aren't so much involved in baseball or bowling or football. Like, I played Pop Warner football and I stopped when I was in 8th grade. So like if Zach wanted to play football, I'd be like, okay, sure. You can play football, but I couldn't care less about it. Baseball, same thing. I stopped playing, I think, when I was in 6th grade or something. So same thing. Like, I enjoy going. I can't give him a lot of knowledge about it, but bowling, I'm far more passionate about and knowledgeable about, so we can connect a lot more. So I think maybe that makes more sense to what you're saying, is that parents can be more passionate about something they're knowledgeable about, and so their kids can connect with them more because of that.
It makes sense. But if you don't know as much, because I see it with some of the older crowds too, but I have a nice lady who came in today. We drilled her a ball. Her daughter now bowls. She used to bowl back in the day, but now she wants to bowl with her mom, and then her daughter bowls. So they come in and they bowl together and they all connect on the same level, which is interesting that you bring that up. That some people don't really know as much, so then they don't connect as well. But still, if you're a bowler, typically your kids are going to bowl. I guess Gary points out 80% of the youth membership has gone away. I would probably blame that on USBC or the proprietors for just saying, look how successful we are right now. We don't really have to do anything. And then all of a sudden it goes away.
Yeah.
You reap what you sow. If you're not going to put, if you're just having the opportunity to have a lot of bowlers, me and my father talked about it. Back in the day, we had 2 shifts that were full. 8 o'clock and 12 o'clock, or 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock. Now we have 1 shift.
9 and 11:30 every Saturday.
Well, how much coaching was really there at that time? It wasn't really as prevalent. And I'm sure that maybe your dad, there was more bowlers, but as they stopped bowling, the kids stopped bowling.
There was always 2 or 3 coaches milling around, but like I said before, your parents knew what they were doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Parents knew how to bowl because they were involved in it. So the more parents drop out of bowling, the more the kids don't care about it.
Right, exactly. And I think that might have been what happened is, the parents either stopped bowling or they didn't want to bring their kids anymore, because you got to remember, they got to bring them in the morning on a Saturday.
Right.
If you work all week, how many times do you really want to go out on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning?
Yeah. Well, speaking of Sunday mornings, we have a travel league around here that was traditionally a scratch, not challenge league, but a scratch
pro
league.
scoring.
Junior pro scoring league is what it was called. It was always scratch, and they just voted this year because of the lack of interest and the amount of players. They voted to change it to a handicap league, which I guess I don't understand because other than it being travel, now it's not different than Saturday mornings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's a little bit different. I mean, yeah, when we bowled, Austin was on my team one year. I think we both averaged right around 200.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really but that's the problem. It was a 4-man team. Austin, if you recall, we had 4 players, but I'm pretty sure it was like me and you, like every other week, and then our other 2 players showed up whenever they felt
alternates or whatever. Yeah,
yeah. We had a lot of random people bowl us that year.
Yeah, like Matt Trestick didn't bowl that year.
I think we had what, Mario Guzzo?
I don't think it was Mario. I don't even remember who it was, but we had like Mario, we had Angelo Pacifici, we had Andrew Hallenbach, we had like 4 or 5 or 6 different guys who would fill in for 2 spots. And it's like whoever we could find.
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily think that. I mean, the travel league is obviously going to reflect your junior league, but I think that what we should do is, I think we should focus more on in-house, and I think that the scholarship tours are where you should get your individual games. I think when you're here bowling in the junior program, I think it should be more team-based, more togetherness. That way there's less individual games. So people are like, hey, I want to go bowl in that tournament because I want my own individual game here. I don't want to bowl as a team right now. And obviously we have plenty of opportunities because there's the Empire State Youth Tour or something like that now. And then there's a CDYST, which has been around for a few years.
You know what? I'm sorry to interrupt, but what just popped into my head is what bowling doesn't have for juniors that baseball and football and soccer has are team events outside of your league. So
what team events would you say?
Like the Little League World Series, for example. Yeah. So like when you play baseball in your league, you're just playing against all of your teams, right? Just like we do here in our bowling alley. All of the teams bowl against each other, but then you can go achieve or whatever the Little League World Series. Right. But we don't have any outside tournaments for team events. We only have outside single events that I'm aware of.
I think there are some team events. I don't think they're like what you're talking about, though. They're just individual tournaments.
They're not major.
There is like a state championship, but you can like grab anybody in your age division, I'm pretty sure. So you could grab somebody from Sportsman, somebody from town, somebody from here. You're not collectively bowling from town and country lanes, but you could, but you don't have to.
But that's what I'm saying is like you don't have your sanctioned team that you bowl with every week that you could then sign up to go to bowl in this tournament and then be state champions or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying is
you're looking at the national level, but then you look at your national level and you're talking at singles, junior gold, Storm Youth Championship. That's where all the singles are in. So I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. So if there's like a 5-man Baker league, you send your best 5-man Baker team out, or your 5 best youth players.
No, I'm not even saying that's not the best players. I'm saying the best team. That's why I'm saying like when.
Well, I think it's impossible
you play baseball and when you play football, you're a team. You don't take the like if when you have the whatever 5 AAA teams.
Yeah.
You don't pick a bunch of best players to send to the World Series. I don't think anyway.
Yeah, you do. It's the All-Star team.
It's not the best team.
It's the All-Star team of the region.
The All-Star team.
There you go. Then I don't know what the heck I'm talking about.
I got picked for the All-Star team. I got picked for the All-Star team like every year. So
yeah.
We would pick the best players from
Just so
the league.
I also got picked for the All-Star team in baseball, but I was like 8.
So I got picked for ours, and you pick all the best players from your division or whatever, and then they go. So you're all that place's All-Star team goes against the next youth program's All-Star team, and then there's just they kind of count as whoever it is. That's how I've always viewed it.
I know what you're heading towards, Kyle.
Yeah,
but I think the biggest biggest hurdle to jump over in bowling with that aspect is the fact that at the pro level, there's not a handful of team events. It's
True.
all singles.
And
so
the team
they
event
wanna
that's in
really
the pro
promote
level is horrible.
Wow, you're
Yeah,
mean.
you're not wrong.
I'm sorry. It's the worst thing to watch.
But
on
what I'm
television.
saying too is you have to remember there's what? Let's say there's 10 teams in AAA for baseball or whatever level it is to go to the World Series. So you have 90 kids to pick from in
Mhm.
that age level, while bowling, depending on where you are, might only have 3 kids that are decent, and then they've got 2 guys who are like, oh well, we need 2 more people, let's go see if we can win. Now it's not a bad thing because they're like, holy crap, we want to get better. But I mean, the age, like, there's such a smaller like amount of people or kids that it might be really hard to have something like that, because you're not really, you could do it, but the skill level isn't going to be, you're going to see a major drop off between teams, and then they're going to start making superpower teams like they do in NBA. They're going to travel 5 minutes away to another center.
So I think to wrap it all up is basically what we want to see or think would help grow not just youth bowling, but the sport, and grow into better high school bowling, better collegiate bowling, and better adult bowling is first, make it more challenging, like we've always said.
I don't know if more challenging is the right way to go right away. First step is to have, I think for myself, is have more coaches, a coach for each team, and have 4 or 5 or 6 specialized coaches, where they are better at layouts, bowling balls, motion of bowling balls, how to play the lanes, reading lanes, while the other people help develop the fundamentals.
Coaching is number one for sure.
Absolutely.
Because they need to improve, and if you don't have a coach,
and you have to have somebody back you, like Austin said. If your parents are dropping you off, you need to have that figure behind you, giving you the confidence and or the supportiveness to say, hey, you're doing a great job today, keep working at it, instead of, oh well, your parents aren't here. Yeah, they don't talk to anybody, they don't have any of that interaction with anybody, and they're like, I don't really like this anymore because nobody has any interest.
Yeah. And then an improved structure, I think, that makes it more like a team event, more camaraderie,
more organized,
more organization,
more organized team events, instead of just here's your 4 players
each
go
week.
bowl your individual games. We want to have that team event to create camaraderie, to say, hey, let's pull this guy in for some extra practice.
No pre-bowling, by the way.
Oh, come on.
Just eliminate pre-bowling
You're just the
altogether from the
worst.
sport.
You're the worst, Kyle.
I'm sorry. Pre-bowling should just be eliminated completely. It's a freaking
Well, you don't
joke.
pre-baseball.
Exactly.
I mean,
I threw my pre-3 strikes.
I think it really depends on, if you're in an adult league that's recreation based, absolutely. But if you're in a competitive scratch league or something where there's more money, the pre-bowling really shouldn't be allowed. It should be substitute. But you can't sub junior bowling. That's another issue. Is if people can't make it, you don't have that bench player to fill in. You know what I mean?
If we're going to change the way it's organized, you can't sub a left tackle, you can sub a left tackle. You can't pre-left tackle.
No, you can't pre-left tackle. But
so my point is, if you're going to have a Baker team, you better have an alternate, or you're not going to have a 5th player. You know what I mean? So my point is no pre-bowling. So
that's fine.
Coaching, new organization,
right?
And then I think once you get up to high school, the school's got to take it seriously.
Well, yeah, I think they say high school bowling is growing. It's not really growing from our end, I don't think.
Yeah, at least in our area, it's
not the greatest. But I think what needs to be really pushed, which I don't think is enough, is the opportunities of scholarships in bowling. For example, I know we only have a few minutes, but if you look at it, the CDYST and the Empire State Youth Championship, whatever it is that they're running now, I know the CDYST is more from my time. The Empire State one's new, but the CDYST is a scholarship-based tournament. You go, you pay money, the kids get scholarship to college, no matter if they're a boy, girl, whatever. There's different age limits. You can also qualify for junior gold through that way, which is your pinnacle for, I think everybody should be the pinnacle. There should be that obtainable reach at the end. So all year long, we talked about nationals. That's our goal. for the kids. It's to improve and to be able to qualify for that. So that's on their same standard. I don't think we show the kids that enough. We don't tell them about the scholarship opportunities.
When I was at junior bowling, I didn't even know Teen Masters existed.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. So like the women, for example, they have like Division 1, 2, 3, I don't know, and NAIA, they have a bunch of scholarship opportunities. I know Division 3 can't give scholarships, but there's bowling teams for women. They give out a ton of scholarships.
You should see some of the locker rooms for the women bowling
crazy.
teams. Whoa.
Yeah, like
there's
it's serious.
actual training facilities
yes.
in some of these schools.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And that, you know, women, kids, parents, they don't know that that's out there. So if you
unless
put it
you are really into
bowling, right?
Yep.
So if you mainstream it a little bit more, or you know, you kind of showcase that, like, here's your pinnacle as junior gold, and hey, girls, if you can throw the ball halfway decent, you're getting a full ride, and you got a chance to go, maybe not on the PWBA tour, but you get an education for free. You can bowl in college. You can have some really great experiences. For the men, it's a little different. They have the NAIA. They don't have men's bowling.
We're not in Division 1 or NCAA.
Yeah. So they have the NAIA. I'm sure they have some club teams that also participate, but you know, there's some opportunities there. And like we said, your youth challenge leagues have scholarships. Why aren't we doing high school or our junior program like that? Why are we not giving these kids incentives? Granted, it's great to have what we're talking about, coaching and this and that, but why don't we have the parents put in some extra money? Like, what do we pay? $10 a week for juniors, $12 a week. Okay, why not make it? It's $20. I mean, maybe it breaks the bank for some people, but let's just say it's $20 for each kid. And at the end of the year, we have X amount for scholarship opportunities. Most
of the country, our league did give out a couple of scholarships this year.
We'll see. Okay, there we go. But that's another thing. Why are we dancing on the bush here? Why don't let's just start doing it? Let's start doing scholarship opportunities. Go ahead.
I'm going to share this. I'm going to share my screen here. This is Nebraska's bowling facility on their east campus. Nebraska's women team holds the most titles, but this is their campus, their bowling center in their campus.
It's ridiculous, right? It's awesome.
Yeah, I think they have string machines too, just so everybody knows.
They got a flex machine sitting there.
Yeah, 4 lanes, 6 lanes, probably state-of-the-art scoring.
It's pretty sick.
Probably can set up spares whenever they want. But yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, how many people really know that they have like a red flex machine? Go Big Red. Drill. You know, they have their own drilling room. They have their own surface.
Did you see the resurface?
Yeah, they have a resurface machine, the Storm one. I mean, look at the opportunities that this is a women's team, by the way. There's no men's team. This is a women's sport right here. I mean, think about if you throw the ball halfway decent and you get pretty good. You have an opportunity to go here. You know, and you can go bowl and get a great academic career. You can learn a lot, and you can go bowling on a full ride.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? So there's not a lot of people that know that. And I think that's, like we said, that's another problem. People don't know about junior gold. People don't know about the scholarship tour. They don't know about women's scholarships. They don't know about that men have bowling. They look at bowling as just
maybe instead of the USBC emailing about Motive bowling balls, they could email all of the junior bowlers about junior gold and about scholarship opportunities and about college opportunities, so that junior bowling could be more exciting that way.
Well, that too, but where are the advertisements? We're not going to talk about the USBC because I have a whole list on here.
I was getting you angry and pumped up about that.
No, because I have a whole section on the USBC and I'm not going to bash them because it's not appropriate, but I have questions, you know, and I have some thoughts on what they could do better and what I don't think they do well enough. We just do not have the time to get into that because that's another 45-minute conversation.
Yep. Well, we have a couple of things to get to here. But basically, there's a lot of things that we could do for youth.
5-step program, go. Just finish it. Just
5-step program. What did we say? We said
coaches,
coaching, update the organization to improve
more team oriented, more organized as a team event. That was horrible. Say it again.
More organization
as a team and team events, not just bowl 3 games a week.
Right.
Good job.
Number 3 was scholarships. Number 4
is the I I don't want to say the marketing because I don't want to make it sound like that, but the exposure
Improved exposure.
to the extracurriculars,
Yep.
junior gold, college, scholarship opportunities.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Organize the 5-step program.
Exactly.
Bring it all
We
together.
have a 4-step program.
That's right.
4-step.
Okay.
And clinics.
All right. Mitch had a question. Can an inaccurate hand fit cause timing to be completely off?
If you're talking about timing is irrelevant. I think everybody has their own type of timing.
Well, yeah, but your personal timing is important.
Sure. I wouldn't say it messes your timing off. I think that'd be more of a you thing, but it can create more inconsistent hand releases, which you may think are your timing. So I don't necessarily think it would be timing. I think it would just be your hand release would be different, or you wouldn't come out of the ball the same, which makes you think it's your timing because, I'm not getting to the line, so I'm not getting out of it the right way. But in reality, the fit's not right, or they missed their spot, wherever it was. Happens. People are humans.
All right, let's get into our final, not topic, but our final segment. Thank you. Of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, bowler of the week.
Oh my God. I'm so excited. Who could it be?
Don't forget, you can enter or nominate someone else to be bowler of the week by heading to our Instagram bio or Facebook bio and click the link. Ladies and gentlemen, Rich Manser of Colony, New York. He is 56 years old. The average is 220. This week at Hometown Lanes, he shot 255, 238, and 247 in his league, which was a recreation shot. He has 46 300 games with a high of 857. And
he's a member of the back-to-back 300 club.
Oh, and he is
Troy Hall of Famer,
member of the Troy Hall of Fame circa 2018, 19?
I believe it was 19.
19? Okay. Sorry, Rich. You can correct us later. So, ladies and gentlemen, Rich Manser of Colony, New York. Congratulations, Rich.
Did you say Rick?
I did.
Great job, Rich. Great bowling
Rich
this
also
week.
comes with us to nationals. And don't forget, like I said, head to our Facebook bio or our Instagram bio and click the link and then click Bowler of the Week. And you can enter or nominate someone to be Bowler of the Week every week by 5 p.m. on Wednesdays. Well, that leads us for our time to go bowling.
Might have to have another episode
of youth bowling. You are just amped up on this one.
I mean, I'm not amped up. I just have a lot of points in here that we didn't get to.
I know.
I'm sorry, everybody. I know.
A lot of rambling we had.
It's not really rambling. It's good conversation. We didn't even get into clinics. My ideas on clinics.
A little bit.
Yeah, but I think no, not at all. You did not touch on clinics.
All right. Well, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Catch us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you can't watch the show, don't forget you can download and listen from any major podcast outlet. And please give us a 5-star review. If you would like to make suggestions for show topics, you can email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. Thank you to Austin Van Buren, the producer, Jack Scacia, proprietor of Town & Country Lanes. Thank you to Anthony for another great show.
I'm Axel.
That's right, Axel Rose. I don't think he ever wore a witch's hat, though.
I just feel like I look like him.
New and improved.
Yeah.
And thank you to my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. This is Down Lane Podcast.